so you can see what I'm doing here. And away we go. Alright, about as far as I can go with shovel. Now my PhD here. See what we can get. Nope.
Already had a big crack in it, but I drilled a bunch of holes.
Alright.
I'm gonna go take the horses down to corral and clean the stalls and I'll come out.
Okay.
After we get this done, I want to get that. We got that jack we can use. I'll get another jack.
Try to brace it.
Brace that so we can cut out, keep going straight back instead of having
Right.
notch in it. Okay.
Alright. Just getting a short post here and then something to push up at that middle point.
Yep. Probably take this one right down and use this one because it's really not doing anything.
Well, the only other thought would be looking at it. I think what happened is your posts right between the two joists, right?
Yep.
What if we just put a block in there and a couple of legs under the two joists? I think the only thing you're doing is supporting the plywood.
I'm afraid it'll make the joist sag. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna go take care of horses first.
Alright. Alright. Green barrel. So right here. There's the hole. There's the drain barrel. Seems like I got about the right size so far. Okay. So what we're talking about is we've got this support here, which goes up, and that's actually supporting a rail upstairs that was added after the house was built. And since we need to carve out the upstairs, I gotta figure out how to turn this camera around again. Okay, apparently I can't turn around on the fly for some reason. So, but because we need to dig out what the jack is sitting on, we need to reinforce that support. Alrighty, well, back to digging. I need to make the hole a little bit wider and definitely deeper. So, get back around here. Back to work. So in case any of you have never dealt with clay before, right underneath where we had the salt pump was about 3 inches of muck. Under that, dry, hard clay. So instead of being a sticky goo, now I'm cutting through dry, hard clay with a postal digger, which if anybody's ever dealt with it knows it's a bit of work. I'll show you. Stick in the mud. There we go. And here, I'm grabbing now. This is what I'm digging out. Dry powder. From a hole that just had 8 inches of water in it. Amazing stuff clay is. Alright, let's see how deep we are. Alright. Well, I think about deep enough now. See how my barrel fits. I think just a little more around the rim. And then, by now, a bunch of you are probably asking, you get that fancy drill, why don't you use it? Well, spade works good if you're cutting down a wall, but if you're going straight into the earth, it's got nowhere to push the dirt. You just end up making a groove and doesn't do any good. Well, that should about do that. And I'm going to clean up the mucky floor a little bit. Show you what it looks like. Squishy, sticky mud. Here's the hole. Switch the camera around so you can see. Here's the fancy hole I made. See about where the water line was, and how far down I went. And how bone dry it is at the bottom. How mucky wet it is at the top. So before, clay is an amazing thing. I'll give you a little tour here. This is what we're dealing with. Some mixed dirt, rock, clay, 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 blue clay, some more blue clay, lots more blue clay, more clay. So this is our current source of light here. It's a tripod with some halogen lights on it. Earmuffs for when we're running the chisel, because it's loud down here in this space with that thing running. And way back in that corner there, if you can see it, there's a hose. That's where the drain pumps out of the basement through corrugated line. French drain buried along the wall here. And then we have that hooked up to this sump pump line here and to the sump pump. So far, it works. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take this load out. Get the camera propped up here. So you can see. There we go. And that's how you get that done. Alrighty. I'm going to start scraping some of the muck off the floor so it's not eating my boots so bad. Because I just about lost my boot earlier. For that, I need a long-handled shovel. Here. Digging the gooey off the floor.
I'm gonna go get that other jack.
Okay.
Or do you wanna, how do you wanna do that? Get that post out of the way.
Well, I'm not sure how much weight is being bared by that or if it's just holding up the plywood. I don't remember how much.
One way to find out.
I don't remember how much tension's on it.
Well, try to wiggle that 4x4, I'll tell you how much tension's on it.
Some, but this hasn't moved, so I don't know. I mean, what do you think about just taking some 2x4 down both sides? You know, screw it in here, screw it in there. Might be better than jacks because jacks are going to settle. We can attach it across the floor joists, it'll bear the weight, you know? Anything we put in here is just going to sink for the first 3-4 inches on the top surface layer there.
You're boss. Tell me what we're doing.
I don't want to be the boss. I don't get paid enough for that. Say the only benefit of this floor being wet is I can shovel it after it gets wet. Once you get down past the soft spot, it is rock hard. There he goes. Took up our chunks up in that ramp we made. Kind of a void up there. Catches the sled a little bit. More chunks of mud up in there. There. See if I can show you what the dirt looks like where I'm digging. Eventually I'll invest in a GoPro and you can see it a little better from my perspective. Okay, so I don't know if you can make it out on here or not. There's the dirt. There's the muck. Right in between. Turn around so you can see it. You go right from dry to wet to muck. You can shovel that muck and wet off of there, but once you get down to the dry, it don't move no more. And you got to use the hammer to get to it. Here comes a four-wheeler. Dad with the sled. Alrighty, back to digging. After the gloves on. Alrighty. Not the most exciting task in the world, but all right, we're gonna call that one a load.